in your waist, give me pain. Nah, I want circles. Nah. Yeah, bitch. Give me feel that boom.
More on the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. We're joined by his parents, Christine and Elmore Wansley, as well as their attorney, Ben Crump. And before we get started, first off, I want to thank you for being here under these circumstances. I know how extremely tough it must be, and we can express how sorry we are for you and your family. And first question, how are you two holding up?
Taking it second by second.
Day by day.
Second by second and day by day, which we all can understand. And I just want to ask you, the friends that Nolan traveled to Horn Island with, they say that he stayed behind voluntarily. Why would he stay behind?
That we cannot answer. I can't fathom why he would.
I don't know why he would. We always taught him to, if you go with a group, you stay with a group. Mm-hmm. Even when he was in college, he would say, Dad, well, we're gonna ride down to a party or something in another city. Now, so I was out telling him, look, if you go with 5, you come back with 5. Do not separate from your group. Because I always said, safety is in numbers. Mm-hmm. And he always said, yes, sir. So he knew to stay with his group. So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
So that would have been unusual for him to split from the group. Yeah. And you said he would always check in with you. Did he check in with you that day?
So that day, no, I don't. But of course, too, they were on the boat. And usually when he is out there, which it's not uncommon, he's, I think, since last year, he's been going there occasionally with his friends. And so it would always just be like, hey, Mom, I'm back, type of thing. But this time there was no call or text from him. It was from his friend.
And then too, really didn't worry a lot about it because it was his last weekend to have fun. Yeah. Because that Monday he had to report to school. We was preparing to take him back for camp to prepare for the season. So, we're gonna see. He wanted to have his last little hurrah before he locked down and get ready for the season. Because, like I said, the entire summer he's training. He got more serious. He started to understand what I was trying to tell him about. Football not just being fun, but as you get farther in it, it becomes a business. If you want to excel, you have to understand, and you have to understand both at the same time.
And we know, Ben, that you said that you're going to do an independent investigation.
Yes.
And you say you have Nolan's cell phone and messages were deleted. How could you tell messages were deleted?
Well, his parents got the phone back, and that's something that's important, Michael, because they tracked this phone on Life 360.
So Life 360, but when I received the phone call from Warren, I immediately called my friend Tashima, and I said, hey, have you guys seen Nolan? Because her 2 sons, Jalen and Javon, they grew up together. They played City League sports together. When they got into school, they played sports together. And so she was like, hey, okay, the boys were pulling up the location from Snapchat. So the Snapchat location looks completely different than the Life 360 location. So when I pulled up Life 360, it was different. It was showing everywhere the phone had been. I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land. I'm not. He's like, but no, he didn't come back with us.
Well, how were you able to get the phone?
So we tracked it, and my friend Tashima went and picked it up.
It wasn't like they said we got his phone. They tracked it, and that highlights all these contradictions, Michael. The fact that they said Nolan was talking to a young woman, and she said that he said, I'm going back to get on the boat with the boys. The boys said that he said he was going to stay with her. And so that's an obvious contradiction. And then this video of this, you can hear an argument going where Nolan is saying, give me my freaking phone. What are you freaking doing? And so then his phone ends up missing. I don't know any teenagers, Michael Strahan, who says, if you believe their story, I'm gonna stay behind and I'm gonna leave my phone. I mean, no young person leaves their cell phone. And so then there's so many things their parents were telling us about, even Why didn't his body wash up with the tide on Sunday? Why would it come on Monday? It's not adding up. And that is the problem when you think about the history of Mississippi.
Yeah, so there are so many questions that need to be answered. And is there anything you'd like people to
interview, Nolan Savier's family described him as someone who brought joy to those around him. They remember his kindness, his sense of humor, and the moment that made him special to them. While speaking through the grief, they emphasize that Nolan was much more than the headlines people may have seen online. The interview with emotions, moments as family members reflect on difficult days following his death. They explain how overwhelmingly the support from friends, neighbors, and even strangers has been according to them. Every message, flower, and kind words has helped remind them that they are not facing this tragedy alone. Rather than focusing only on their loss, the family also spoke about Nolan's legacy. They encouraged people to remember him for the positive impact he had on others and to cherish time with the people they love. Their message was simple but powerful. Life is precious, and no one should take a single day for granted. They also thanked everyone who has respected their privacy while continuing to offer support. The family acknowledges that his time, but they hope that sharing their story will inspire compassion and understanding. As the interview came to an end, there was a clear sense that, despite the heartbreak, they wanted Nolan's memory to live on through kindness, love, and the stories shared by those who knew him best.
Dear white people, what have we done to you? Don't give me no BS story talking about y'all didn't do nothing. I'm not that type of person, because the last time I checked, you sat there and built an entire country off of our backs. A country that was ours before it was ever yours. You sat over here and came and stole our land. You talking about the ancestors of mine that sat there and went through the slavery times. The ones that you would use as a house slave. Sit there and have them nourish and sucking from my bosom. At the same token, I was beat. I was spit on. I was degraded. I was deemed as unhumane for the things that you sent me through just because I wanted to learn the American literacy. The dream that we all sit here fighting for in 2026 for every child to have equal rights inside of a school system. You talking about the ones where I pay tuition for my child to go to school at, and I'm still deemed as not enough. You talking about the ones where it's certain curriculums you leave out on my child. No learning how to balance a checkbook. No learning how to be an entrepreneur. No learning how to build your American dream off of whatever it is. Instead, you turned us into a corporate businessman. I sit here and work my ass off to the bone to get a college degree, and it still ain't enough, and I'm still deemed as overqualified on a job application. Dear white people, what have we done to you? Don't give me no BS story talking about y'all ain't did nothing. You sat there and went inside of a house and killed my African-American auntie, my sister, my mother, over boiling hot water. And in the meantime, you sitting there walking close to her, and she sits there and say, the blood of Jesus. Apparently, the same man that you sit here claiming you worship, you adore, you identify, you love so much. You talking about the one whose hair is like wool, eyes like fire.
Only in America can you kill a black person and get away with it because the person that you killed was black. That is the reality of being black in America. That is the reality. That is our reality. That's the shit that we have to deal with, because that is how our system is set up and has always been set up. How much y'all want to bet that if Cyrus was white, they would have let him walk out that store untouched? They would have never ran after him. Being black means people seeing you for your skin color before they see you for who you truly are. And what's blowing me is that the person who killed this little black boy was also a minority, also a person of color. Where is this hatred coming from? Like, I always thought that it was really only white people that be on that bullshit, but the Asians don't.
It still wasn't enough. So, dear white people, what have we done to you? You talking about the one with Carmelo Anthony? He sat there and defended himself against Caucasian bullies who wasn't even supposed to be at a track meet. You sat there and tampered with me. You tarried with me. But because also you sat there and painted him as a murderer inside of news media, you forgot the fact that he also sat there and saved a Caucasian baby from drowning. Dear white people, what have we done to you? Talking about Nolan, who went out on the lake with Caucasian friends and never came home. But a phone came home. No explanation. You want to give this sad, sob-ass story as a judge. Dear white people, what have we done to you? Done to you. We're fighting. We're not against you.
Well, the fact that they continue to tell the family that we don't see any evidence of any foul play, even though you have students who recorded an altercation while they were on the boats of argument where you had Nolan and somebody yelling at one another on the boat. So that's the issue. And then you have the young lady make a statement and she says, well, Nolan and I finished talking and Nolan said he was going back to the boat. And then the boys on the boat said, no, Nolan told them he was going to stay with her. And so they are conflicting. She's saying he went and got on the boat. They saying he didn't get on the boat. So which is it? And all we know is Nolan is dead.
For all of us who are so concerned about what happened here, just tell us a little bit more about your son. Who was he? What kind of man was he growing up to be?
He was very respected by the community. He was very respected by a lot of people. There wasn't a friend that he couldn't make. People gravitated to Nolan. That was just the type of person he was. He was I would say a silent leader when on the field and on the basketball court. People would follow his actions and not his words. I'm a person, I believe action is more important than words. You can tell me 1,000 times you love me, but show me you love me. Mm-hmm. If you are my real friends and I'm giving you this trust, you need to get it back to me by making me. Yeah. Making me get on that boat. It's 3 of them, one of me. Yeah, we may tussle, but when we get back to the mainland, either we're gonna tussle some more, or we're gonna go party. So, and same with the adult. If that was your child, and I was the one there, you would have wanted me to make your child get back on the boat. So, there was a lot of bad decisions made. I don't think my son volunteered to stay on that island. I can't believe that.
Care if you think you're rich. We love our children and the color of their skin, and we're getting tired of being called as the next of kin. You twisted monsters are going too far. Don't you know your own children will suffer if you keep magnifying this civil war? The people are becoming more and more empowered. You can hide your face, but not your soul, coward.
And just know that if my kids go out with you and they don't return and you've got no answers, baby, please understand, your whole family is going to be just as sad as I am. We're going to be picking out caskets together. They might give us the 2-for-1 deal because, baby, whatever happens to mine in your presence will happen to you if you ain't got a story to tell me.
He was one black with 3 young white men who happened to end up with his phone, happened to end up with his keys. Then there's just too many questions that they should not be closing the investigation. Now, I'm from Brooklyn, so I'm a little different than some of y'all. I was built different. My nose is out here, my eyes are here, my brain is here, which means some things I could smell before I could see and before I can figure out. This does not smell right. So some people are saying, Reverend, are y'all bringing in race? Well, we're not bringing in race, but we're not discounting race either, because we don't know what it is. So to tell us don't rush to judgment saying it was racist is fine. But then I'm telling you, don't rush to judgment saying it was not racism, because we do not know. We do know what these parents are being told, and what the parents have now shared with us does not make sense.
When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious,
Michael,
you know.
We're having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of trust here that is really important. And the fact that they keep trying to say, well, suggesting it was a drowning, but nobody out there reported him drowning, it's not adding up, Michael Strahan. It is not adding up.
And honestly, we are doing this because at the end of the day, I would hope any parent would fight for their kids to find out if anything happened, what did happen. So we just want honesty and transparency. We want a thorough investigation. We want that same respect that would be given to anybody else, and that's it. We just want answers.
Were y'all raised with rules that nobody ever explained? Mine were things like leave with who you came with, come back with who you came with. Don't let somebody else be your only ride home. Let me know when you get there, share your location. And if you look around and realize that you're the only Black person there, leave or pay attention. Nobody ever sat me down and said, here's why we do this. Those were just the rules, you know? And the older I've gotten, the more I realize that those rules didn't come from paranoia. They came from history. Somebody, somewhere, learned those lessons the hard way. But every Black family heard another lesson. Be careful when you're the only one. Then 18-year-old Nolan Wells. He went to an island for the 4th of July with some of his friends. He was the only Black person in the group. His friends came back, and he didn't. His body was found 2 days later.
Know about Nolan. What would you like them to know about your son?
No,
It's okay.
Nolan, take your time. Nolan was.
Have Christine talk about the cell phone from her perspective before they tell you who Nolan was, and then we'll take your questions.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular with the children. And when we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning, only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed, hey Ma, come on, take a picture of me. You know, like he's just, that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted, was because of the fact that there was nothing in either one of his accounts. But I do want to say this. I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want.
We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
Nolan Savier's family's interviews wasn't just about loss, it was about love, remembrance, and hope. Even in their darkest moments, they choose to honor his life and encourage others to appreciate every moment with their people they care about. What are your thoughts on the family's message? Feel free to share them respectfully in the comments below. If you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notification for more updates and stories. Thank you for watching. If you want the script to include specific quotes or details from the interview, I can do that too, but I'll need the interview itself, or I will need to look up the recent reporting so the script stays accurate.